drum roll. Welcome back, viewers. This is our episode number 53, and we are back with another episode with our partner from Canada, Mr. David Mark Peters. As you guys know, we have already done 2 to 3 episodes with him, and but this episode is going to be a really special one, as we are going to be talking about his one of the initiatives that he is associated with, and me and Sir have been talking about it long, and Sir has been working on it. So, Sir, why not you first start by begin introducing rich learning, how it came into existence, and what is rich learning about? Like our audience, the name suggests that something rich we are talking here about the learning and something related to learning practices, but what it is, like, why not you give an insight into it?
Sure, it's glad to be back again, Anmol. So, rich learning, what is it? It's an acronym, RICH. It means recognize, identify, comprehend, and harness the whole concept of learning. So, rich learning was originally developed to help young children fall in love with learning through embedding core educational concept in music and the arts. So it's called brain-based learning on arts-based platform. So initially this was started by Dr. Rich. His name happened to Richard. with with then he had 38 musicians, storytellers, and animator educators. They met in Aspen and Puerto Rico and Minnesota at an educational development center in Boston. And their goal was to create a scaffolding for a premier universal model preschool to meet and exceed government early learning standards and bring excellence to the children around the world with education. So that
So
was
it's like
how it got
the
started.
industrial revolution in education, if I say,
That's correct.
or the
That's
technological
correct.
revolution.
That's
So
right.
now
Yes.
kids won't be saying that I don't want to school. Rather, they will say I want to go to school and learn.
Yeah, it all started basically not with the technology in use, but as a brick and mortar, which incorporated the learning was always with motions, emotions, music, dance, activity. It was like in our days, it was taught that you sit, always told to do something. It never gave the opportunity for the child to express himself. So express the child expression. Basically, the word educate means to draw out. You're
Right.
drawing out from the child. That is what it means. And that concept is not to tell children to sit in one place, but to let them express what is it. And they can only express as a child through activity, jumping. And when you start jumping, as you know, if any of you athletes or sportsmen, you only get the oxygen coming into your brain when you start
Right.
running, exercising, and that's how it gets the brain charged. You know, so that's the concept. It's a neuroscience behind this education.
Wow, that's amazing. So, like, how did this idea came into existence? Like,
Well, the idea came into existence because we found out that the way the children were learning was not it wasn't wholesome. There was always, people. Why would you send your child to dance classes? Why would you send your child to art class? Everything was after class kind of a thing.
right,
But if you brought this whole concept within the class, the whole learning experience, you did not go there. And we also found out that when you incorporated emotion, dance, and music into your learning, there was a big difference in the results that we got. So we tested it out in Minneapolis with the so-called rich kids, whose parents were wealthy, and then we went to India, where we had a group of kids who were from different backgrounds. So some were really from the poor people, they were middle class, and the rich kids.
okay,
And the learning was basically there was no class. We don't have chairs in our classroom.
that sounds exciting actually.
Exactly. So that's nothing. So you use everything with music, dance, art, crayons, songs, and everything. In the alphabet, you start with an A, one. So you got math, one. Red is a color, ant, A as an ant. So one red ant. Yeah. So
Yeah,
it incorporates the whole math, your art, and then there's a song, one red ant running, so then there's a song for this learning. So what happens is you get your whole body moving, you start, you jump, and kids enjoy it, and they're able
Right.
to remember. So we did this testing. I've seen this myself firsthand when I was in Ethiopia. It was amazing. This was the poorest of the poorest area in Ethiopia, and we got 100 kids out there, and we did this for 5 weeks. These kids are like 5, 6, 7, 8 years old. They would never learn
Okay.
English in their life, not a word of English. 5 weeks later, they can spell the word devoted. Just imagine
Wow.
the word devoted harmony.
In just 5 weeks.
Yes, and they know what it means, and they have a song for it. And so at the end of the 5 weeks, when we call the parents and the mayor of the small little town, like they were when the child went up to the stage. So what happens at the end of 5 weeks? There's a performance. We call it a performance. So they have to
Okay.
come up on the stage and perform what they learned. And the kids come on the stage and they start singing and dancing and speaking. And the parents are, wow, 5 weeks, my child can do this.
Yeah,
It's an
that
amazing
is
concept.
totally amazing.
So the thing is, it's not the environment. We can say, oh, just because the child had the best education, he went to the best school, and the parents put him in the top school, he's able to perform. No, it is the method which works.
Right.
And the method is to incorporate music, art, and dance.
Method matters. Like
Yeah,
this is activating their creative part of the brain in the initial
absolutely.
stages, which is right
Exactly.
now these days lacking in the education system. As we all know how the education system is, it is still going with the ways that our
Yeah,
parents, grandparents, and from generations it has been like
exactly.
this. And even like I have seen personally with myself that earlier, before watching YouTube, I used to read books, but since YouTube has come, most of my learning happens through video content or either audio.
Right.
I still read. It's not that I don't read, but my preferable learning mode is that if either I can watch a video and understand it better, or either I do
Yeah.
it via audio. So, but
Right.
I think for kids, the way that you have taken is something really out of the box, because as kids are hyperactive, they want, even like as adults, if you want to learn leadership lessons, if we have a course like this, why not make it fun? Because generally for
Right.
us it is so serious. Like so like talking about art centric learning and what you are doing at Rich Learning. So how is this method, or how you envision this method and Rich Learning help dissolve some of the inequalities in the educational system?
Okay.
Because like
So,
I personally, for me, when I was a kid, till the initial years of schooling I was okay, but since 7th 8th class, when all the serious subject came in and you are just going to the classroom sitting there, so I was not very good at scoring marks, though I understood the concepts. Like my physics was very good, chemistry I didn't understood at all because of all the formulas and all. My like I'm not good at that part of the things. Physics was very good, but because of that I had to then move to commerce because of chemistry coming all into the picture. So because I didn't understand that kind of concepts, so you get it right. So there are a lot of
right.
inequalities. Some is very good performing in chemistry but not in physics, and like, just this is an example, some are good at
Right.
maths, some are not. So you know
Yeah, that's a very good question. What we do with rich learning, when we first, as I said, when we first had this whole concept developed, it was going to be in a physical location. So what we would do is, like, we would go into cities and set up our school, not necessarily with table and chairs, but we had a location. And then, as I've said earlier, there were no chairs. There was only did this. So they were just rooms, and people would come, and kids would come, and they would learn through music, art, and dance. What we wanted to do is bring this concept so every child had the opportunity. So we started a non-profit arm for it. So what would happen? The concept was a one paying child who paid for the class, a parent who paid for the class, was actually sponsoring another child in the poorest of the world. Could be Brazil, could be India or Nepal or wherever it could be in Africa. So that child can also learn at the same time because he didn't have to pay anything. And so as they learn together, as they grow together, we were going to have an opportunity for them to meet sometime. I say, exactly. This is the. I was in the poorest country, and you grew up in a very influential, affluent society. But the learning was same, exactly the same, and the scores was exactly the same.
Wow.
So that's how we approached it. But then, as we were, uh, polishing our own program, COVID hit,
Okay.
and we say, wow, COVID hit now. Everything stalled. We were invited by the Dubai Knowledge Village. We were invited by ZLearn to implement this because ZLearn at that time when we went, they had already 1,500 preschool schools, and they were still wanting, and they were growing rapidly, and they wanted
Yeah.
us to partner with them. But we say, you know what, this is a different concept. We do not want to rebrand it. It has to be standalone on its own because it's completely new. You cannot bring in what you're doing. Your way of teaching is different from our way of teaching. The method is different. Yeah, so the COVID hit, and then say, oh wow, now we do not know 1 year, 2 years, how long this COVID going to last,
So
and and this,
when COVID came, because as we all know, for businesses as well, it was a we thought that Zoom is the future now. So what as your method is very different, you have to be in person in a room. There is a different kind of concept. So what did you
yeah,
thought at that time? Did you thought about taking it to Zoom or
yes. So exactly. So what happened at that time when COVID drove education online, and we all know we were doing Zoom classes. We were, kids were learning through Zoom. uh, Teachers were learning how to use Zoom, how to, and there were some apprehensions, and the number of technologies evolved and converged. So AR, VR, XR, mixed reality, 5G, faster software, cheaper hardware, blockchain, NFT, digital currency, everything started to come together. I said, and we thought, wow, boom, I think we should move into this sphere. In 2022, when Citibank projected that metaverse to swell to 5 billion users and become an 13 trillion industry by 2030,
yes, yes, yes. I know this
we
fact.
we pivoted from physical schools, which could reach hundreds of children each, to future online platform that could potentially reach billions. And that is how when we launched this initiative, so we are going all out online. So we'll incorporate a gaming, you know, and learning together.
Wow, that's amazing. Well, actually, yeah, that is true. Even I have learned so many things from playing this shooting games and all, and even like chess. Playing chess on your computer makes your mind so much free. So I have also learned a lot of things with gaming. Is something very interesting. I like this. So, can you tell more about gaming? This is something of my interest.
Yeah, so the whole concept. So now what you're doing with our rich learning concept, as I said, we're moving into AR, VR, and the metaverse. So the child comes and enters into this world. So we're looking at probably a pad or a television screen, and so the child comes first. There's a camera which will actually um, recognize the child. Of course, the parent has to sign up with everything, and permission will be taken because security is a big thing for us. And child is welcomed into the class. And when the child is entered into the class, it will recognize, it will greet, and the teaching begins. It's a music, so it's a chapter. So we're starting with the first language tower. We have six towers: language, music, and the arts, and others. So we start with the language, and the child enters, and there is a story happening, and child gets involved with it, and there are other students who are also learning together, and there's a game. You have to pass that level. You cannot go to the next level if you don't pass this level. So the other
Right.
kids who probably, as I said, the other kid who is weak in that area, they will, "Oh, let's do that. You got to do this. You got to catch this. You got to So everybody's trying to help the other child to work as a team and
So
cross the
it
level. So
becomes
what?
a team building activity
Exactly.
as well.
So it's like a gaming. So now you cross that level, you're in a level two now. So we have six levels in each tower. And so for each level, when they get a token, a appreciation, a coin, we call it. So that is something which will convert over a period of time to an NFT. So child can have his own NFT.
Oh
digital
wow,
learning.
that is amazing.
So that's actually encouraging the child to get involved. They are already into games. They are using the game. They know how to use their pads and the gaming software. So this interactivity, but now yours is learning is happening. It's language. You're learning the language. You're learning with song. You're learning with music. You're learning everything that the whole body gets activated. So actually, you're dancing. You're dancing in front of the screen. You're not touching the screen. There's no touch on the screen.
Okay.
Yeah, no touch. So the moment you enter, boom, you are there. You don't have to, the only touch is to turn that thing on. That's the only first touch. But other than that, until the class is
Other than
over,
that, it's so.
you don't.
Got
So
it.
that's
Got
how.
it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that sounds amazing. You just mentioned that you had two big collaborations. One is Z5 and another is Dubai Knowledge Village, right?
Yes.
Is so like, can you tell more about the outreach that you have till date in terms of the global reach and collaborations? Like you have told two, but like as this concept is something interesting, so you know, why
Yeah,
not tell
Dr.
our
Rich,
audience a bit?
sure. Dr. Rich and I have been traveling with this concept for now almost over a decade.
Oh,
And there is a lot of interest from so many people. But there are again with this learning concept, when you get into the ministries of education or the government bodies, then there are certain things that we need to uh, we need to adhere to, or we need to be, uh, for lack of a better word, it has to be part of what how they teach, what the ministry approves and not approves. The whole concept is, but it's not what we are telling that we will comply to what it is. It is a completely different concept altogether, you know. And
right,
so we've been facing, like, pushback. So show us which school is used. No, this nobody is using it. We are the first one people to start this. It has never
right.
been done, and we have proven through our test in all these countries. And there's substantiate uh, proof of our own the whole concept, how it works. So it's a long way. And what will happen once they see, when kids see and the parents see, and of course the government bodies will of course understand finally. Yeah, that's the way it learned. People
Yeah,
learn.
that day will come when they realize
Yeah.
what.
So a lot of interest, but again, when it comes to education, they always have this. Okay, how are we going to comply with what we have, and how is it going to fit? How is the curriculum working? And more of our curriculum will be actually generated by AI as the child learns automatically.
Okay.
The next, it's just pulling information from all the students. What's going on? How is it learning? And the data that we are feeding and how the child learns. So over a period of time, AI will actually create the own curriculum for the child.
Wow, that's amazing. Like it's a custom curriculum teaching the child everything based on how they are going further, right?
Yeah, the progress,
That's what.
the progress they are making, the progress they make, and that goes to then. Okay, so this child is this, and this team is doing this. So what we need to give this child. So this team may have a different. One team may have a different program altogether than opposed to another team.
Right. Now I get it why you mentioned that security is a major concern for you
Yes, very
because
very important.
everything is involved. AI is
Yeah.
involved, and then video analytics is going on. A lot of things. So how you have built such a amazing system using AI and all the latest technologies. So how you came, like, tell us, as we have a lot of startup owners, entrepreneurs, marketers watching this episode. So why not you just tell them a bit about how, because it started as an idea and then you started executing it. Now when you execute, so things come into the picture, then you change, adjust and execute. So how did AI came into this picture? So why not you take us to that journey?
Yeah. So as I said, it's been now over a decade that this program, been working on this program,
Right,
and we keep refining because we want to make all the mistakes before we go to market. We need to know what works, what does not work. So it's not easy, but we made sure that we did everything that we want to make sure that we covered all the bases before we could go to market. And
right,
at the same time, as any entrepreneur or any business person will understand that we need to be in tune with the times, and we
right,
need to We need to embrace technology. We need to embrace because it's coming. You just cannot be sitting and say, that's not for me. No, Citibank said once, online banking is not never going to happen. Today,
It happened.
it happened, and there is no bank which there is no bank will be kept open or be in business if they did not have online banking. Period.
Exactly. Same happened with so many companies, smartphones.
Yeah,
Never expected. But why,
yeah. So
sir? This is my biggest question that I've been asking. Why our education is still working the way it was working so many years ago? Like everything is
yeah,
transforming, but why? Because
yeah.
I asked this
It's
question personally to myself when I was with my university, and I was doing my BCom honors, and my mother told me that we used to read the same concepts in 1980s. So I said, but this is 2017 or 18. Why I am still reading what you were reading? Just tell
exactly.
me, because it does not make sense. I execute how things were executed in 1980s and now. So why is it
Absolutely.
like this is one of the biggest
It's
question I have.
yeah. It's just that people are just stuck in their own ways, and there is always this is the comfort level. This is how it works. It's a proven concept. It works. Nobody wants to take any chances. Nobody wants to say okay, and so that's why we label ourselves as disruptors in education. We want to
Okay.
disrupt the way the education thing, and we have proven it.
Yeah.
It works.
That's what.
And the thing is, going back to my Ethiopian concept, the day that our team was the last day after the performance, we were all packing up. We were all packing up, and all the kids there were crying, wailing. I've never heard this kind of wail. They were saying, "Why are you leaving us?" They saw that bags were packed. The bus was there, and the wail, like from one level to another, the wail when you start crying and somebody died, and the
Right.
wailing starts and it increases and it increases and increases, and then we started
Right.
seeing that the workers started to wail, and then the teachers who we'd hired locally to help with the program, they started to wail. I said, my God. I said, what happened here? I said, they don't said they are saying, why are you leaving? What is happening after this now? Who will teach us now? We want to learn more. So
Right.
this is infectious.
Yeah, it
It
gives me
works.
chills. The kind
Yeah,
of
and then
experience the students must have.
and I could, and these are small kids. When you see a small child cry, as if you have lost something, something is dying. There's nothing there dead for them.
Right.
And we were on the bus, and then we see another bus following us. Then we found which why this bus is following us all the way back, because we have only one bus. I said, no, the driver said these are the teachers. I said, and we stopped at the airport and they said, please, can you rethink? Don't go. We will do something to make it work. Please stay. I said, no, we cannot. We have to go because we have to do this. We have to go back and refine. From all this learning that we've done, we want to make sure that when we come, you guys go teach. You have the program. You can teach yourself. Teach the kids yourself. And so yeah,
Yeah, I
that
think
was
this
so
is the biggest success story any ministry should be needing to understand the
yeah,
kind of impact, and because it's not just teaching, it's like bringing the soul, like the
yeah.
kind of experience you had, people crying. So it is
Yeah, in the
something.
mayor itself, the mayor was there. The mayor of this city was there, and he was like, "I can't believe what this learning is done."
Wow, that is
Yeah,
amazing.
it's amazing.
It is easy. So like we didn't talk about how you got involved into rich learning. That part is left.
Oh,
Yeah,
so
we talked about everything, but we didn't talk about that. Just
so
tell about
so
that journey as well.
yeah, so that I have a non-profit organization
Yes.
which is in India. Again, it's in education, and basically it's media through media, of course.
Right.
And I had a program in 2012, and I had invited Dr. Rich, to come and honor some of our winners of our program, and for the best children's movie, and a children's programming. And after that program, he told me, David, there is something big here, what you are doing with education here, and I've got something that I want to share with you, which I've been working for some time. And that was it. I said, wow, this just happened just like this. You know, and we met. He invited me to come to Minneapolis. He showed me the whole concept. This is what we are doing, and we want to take it to all over the world. And what you guys are doing, I think we can work together. That's how I got involved, and I'm there 14 years now. 12 years, yeah, 12
Yeah,
years.
2012 to 2014. It is 12
Yeah,
years. Yeah, but
yes,
that is amazing. Like the kind of concept, the kind of educational transformation it will bring
yes.
into the market. So it is amazing. So just tell one thing for entrepreneurs and marketers and everyone who is watching it. So whenever they are working on something like this, as you have already mentioned, there are a lot of struggles. So what is the way they should be? Because like. As you know, there are a lot of setbacks as well that you guys faced, and whenever
Mhm.
new technology come in, it is the hardest. But you also have the first mover advantage because you are the one who
Correct.
have executed. So what should be the way? Like currently you are doing it, and there are so many lessons. So why not you give
Right.
your top five takes before
So the
we.
first thing I would say is the vision. If you have a vision, then you got to believe that this is definitely going to work, and you got to, when you believe, you got to be persistent. That this is, and you got to give it 100%. You just can't just leave it like that. So vision, belief, persistence. Then you put it to work. Then you go to work. You'll get to meet with people, network with people who are in the similar space, perhaps. And then, of course, the fifth thing, to embrace technology and change. And of course, down the line, you will definitely have ups and downs, but you will always overcome. But if your vision is clear, you believe in it with all your heart, with passion, and you execute the whole program, get into the networking with people in the same space, and go execute it with embrace technology. It'll work.
That's amazing. It somehow works when you just keep working on it, right?
Right.
Yeah, perfect, sir. That is amazing. I
Yeah, one
think
of
we
the
have
things that we
covered
are
it all.
doing is,
Yeah.
yes, one of the things that we are doing right now is through the non-profit organization. We are raising funds to give 1 million kids the units so they can use the goggles. Of course, in the future, it won't be the big goggles, AR, VR goggles. It'll
Yes.
be just like this, a smaller thing, and
Okay.
everything will be in there. So we are working on that. We're raising funds for it for our MVP, and you know, your viewers want to go look at it, go to richlearninginternational.org,
I will put the link in the
richlearninginternational.org.
description so people can
And
look at the website. And if there is any
yes,
for donations, if anyone wants to reach out,
sure,
so they can reach out. So I will mention whatever you give to me. So I will mention that in the podcast because
sure.
we are going to be pushing this podcast in a lot of places. So
Yeah. Also, we have a free book. People can download a free book. Go to richlearning.com. Free book. It's available in English, in Arabic, and in Chinese. So you'll know what the
wow,
concept
that's
is.
amazing. That will help our audience a bit.
Yes.
Perfect, sir. Thank you so much for your time. I will say that this has been a wonderful podcast as you have given a lot of insight into what is coming up for the educational sector. And I think we should promote it in that way only so that people understand because this is a question that has been on many people's minds. Whenever I meet up people in the startup events as well, so they also ask education. It has been the same. Like even companies like Byju's have come and they have done, but it is mostly like going through the similar kind of thing on a digital platform. But this is something innovative and new, and like this is disruption of the industry. So I think
Right.
we will be pushing this episode in that manner only. And I would like to thank our viewers as well, our loyal viewers as well, who have been watching our episodes. And perfect. I think we will be doing another episode soon with sir. Thank you so much, our viewers, for watching in, and thank you so much, David sir, for being on this episode. And do like, subscribe, share this episode as much as you can because I see a lot of people viewing it, liking it, but there is no engagement. So I want you guys to engage. Please engage as it will be helping us a lot. Thank you so much again.
Thank you. It's a pleasure, Albon, always. Anytime. Let's do it again.
Yes, let's do that again.